Hello, everyone, and welcome to another South Dade Shoutout. My name is Richard Candia. I'm a board member with the South Dade Chamber of Commerce, and South Dade Shoutout is our opportunity to highlight members of our community, members of the Chamber, kind of tell you a little bit about what they do, how they do it, and why they are essential, why you need to know them. Today, we are joined by a very important group. I can't believe that I've been around so long, as long as I've been around. That didn't go very well. That I have just learned about this group, about what they do, and how important they are to, well, we're going to meet them. Trinity Empowerment Consortium. I've got Mr. Owanikin and Mr. McCormack joining us today. Gentlemen, thank you very much. There's so much we have to talk about, and I don't know where to begin. Why don't we start with the beginning? Tell the audience what Trinity Empowerment, the mission of Trinity Empowerment.
Absolutely. Good morning, Richard.
Hey,
and thank you, man, for having us. So I'm Kraig Johnson Owanikin. I work with Trinity Empowerment. We are a HUD-certified, HUD-approved housing counseling agency. And essentially what that means is our mission is to really help revitalize our communities, especially those who are underserved, and especially those who are just in need of services to better themselves. Everything is related to housing. Everything we do is to advance our community, especially within the affordable housing crisis we have now. So our work is simply financial services that will benefit our community and our customers.
Mr. McCormack, give me some pointers about some of the specific services that Trinity does.
Okay, good morning, everyone. One of our services, first-time home buyers. We focus on make buyers understand the process from beginning to the end. We try then to understand how the credit work, how the income and financial piece work, how the loans process, the closing costs, all they need to know, because unfortunately people like to hear somebody that already passed to the process, and everybody's a different process. It's not what's happened to your friends or your family is going to happen to you. So we try then to understand each one is an individual person that get their own process.
Now, when we talk about the help to a first-time homeowner, in the manner that we're talking about this, we're talking about folks. We think we're talking about people that have certain barriers, like income barriers or those kind of things. But this can be everything, because the two things both of you said is education.
Right.
Talk to me about the education process and why that's important.
Okay, well, I can start really simply at the difference between affordable housing and workforce housing. So there's a lot of words that get thrown around in the community, and a lot of us hear affordable housing, and we tend to think of folks who are only using government assistance purely as their only source of income. Mm-hmm. But I really just want the community to understand that workforce housing actually is for us who are working as hard as we possibly can to create a life for ourselves and for our families. And there's a number that goes attached to that. They call it the AMI percentage, or the area median income. And just for the record, here in Miami-Dade County, if you are a single person making under $100,000, you will now fall into the 140% AMI, and you are eligible for almost every single program that me and Freddy discuss when we teach our classes. So if you're a person with an income, single person, 100,000 and below, you qualify. So hopefully that is news to somebody.
And for instance, one of the things, I'm a realtor.
Yes, sir.
As I think I've mentioned to you guys a couple of times. And one of the things that we should focus on is that when you said somebody qualifies for some type of government assistance, this isn't a handout. This is the government recognizing, I'm going to make an investment here, because home ownership almost always will improve a community.
Oh, yes.
Mr. McCormack, why do I need help in going through that process? How?
As a buyer or as a
buyer?
Again, one of the issues we're talking with buyers is why you don't buy, why you don't own a house. No, because I don't have the money. I don't have the credit. All that kind of barrier. So that's the point when we teach in the class. Make them understand it's no barrier. Like you don't have the money. There are so many down payment assistants can work for you. You have issue with the credit. That's why we're here to helping you improve your credit. Because again, they have to live in some place. They have to rent. If you rent, you pay that house for somebody else. You don't pay your own house.
Exactly.
So we tried on the class teach them they have options. Like Kraig say, a single person can qualify. Even in May 100 and something, they can qualify. The point is knowledge. That's what we try to do in class. Teach them and show them all the opportunity they have available for them.
I would argue that perhaps your best client is not necessarily the buyer, but also the realtor.
Wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I have a client that qualifies for these things, I may not know all of the opportunities that are available to that client because of where they live or because of their income. Do you partner with realtors?
Yeah,
How does
man.
that work?
The organization's been around for over 20 years, right? So we've always had to find new ways to advance and marry relationships, create new relationships, right? So with realtors, what we do is we do bring in our real estate professionals. We have some trade associations that we're a part of, including the National Association of Real Estate Brokers that was founded in Tampa, Florida back in 1947. We're also part of the National NAREP. And can you remind me of NAREPs?
And the other one, NAREP. And
Yeah, so we have different trade organizations that we're a part of. We do partner with them. We work with Miami-Dade County to make sure that we're creating those relationships. And we partner with other HUD housing counseling agencies to put on events as well. The biggest thing is, like you said, Richard, we have to get the education to the many realtors. Miami, Florida is home of the largest real estate trade association in the entire country, the Miami Association of Realtors. And we just have to make sure that the realtors understand when they partner with us, they're not bringing home buyers to us for us to take the client away. Matter of fact, Freddie, can you speak to that?
That's our point. Like, I prefer instead of say is realtors the best and client, they are our best resort.
Yes, sir.
Because basically what we tried, let's put it this way, realtor have a listing, okay? Supposedly the seller have to take the last decision, but normally seller be guided by the real estate agent by the listing.
Consulting.
So if the listing or the realtor do not understand the program, they cannot sell in the program correctly to the seller.
Let me put that in another way for potential sellers out there or my colleagues, my realtor colleagues. You're talking about how you have an offer and that offer has a bunch of, perhaps has some related down payment assistance.
Right. Additional,
This offer is as good as any other offer that comes
Definitely,
in.
yes.
It's solid. As a matter of fact, probably
It's
that
stronger.
buyer has put in more work,
Stronger.
right? Okay.
It's stronger, and that's the point. If the realtor do not understand that, they will told. By the way, maybe sometimes even it's not showing to the seller. You know,
I don't want to say that's true.
But we know that
but that's a reality.
There's a
I
potential
don't know
that happens.
that's true, but
That's a reality. So what we try to make realtors understand the program. One of the issues, no, the program taking longer. There is no money. Their money.
Got it.
Because one of the program get money every month by the surtax. So it's money all the way there.
So we didn't mean to, but we're kind of feeding into the stigma because we're talking about an income requirement or an income barrier. There's a whole bunch of other barriers. But one of the things that was most exciting to me, speaking to both you gentlemen and speaking to Ms. Johnson, who is the CEO of Trinity, it's the education. Maybe I'm a first-time home buyer for my family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing okay, but who knows the process? Most folks buy a house once, twice in their whole life. Talk to me about the resources and just that process you're giving to anybody can come and talk to you and get an education on the process.
No, that's 100%. And you just mentioned it. Purchasing a property is the largest financial investment that your standard American will make in their entire life, right? $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 at a time, right? And the idea that you're putting this much money and you're making this type of 30-year commitment is mind-boggling to most, right? And even to those who do their research, and even those who come prepared, man, they're still confused. What we want to do is really demystify a lot of the process, because myself and Freddie have been doing these courses, have been teaching this education and counseling with folks for such a period of time, man. We've seen a lot of different things, right? Now, mind you, Freddie already said it. No scenario is exactly the same. And Richard, you're in the industry. You know, every real estate deal is its own, its own pitch per se, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is different, but there are some standards. And our job is to help somebody move as close to the standards as they can, right? So, hey, I have non-traditional income, right? Okay, well, that means that most likely we got to find you a lender who is ready to work with you doing not necessarily just your standard W-2, right? If you got a lender that only understands W-2s and never worked with somebody on a 1099 income, we don't want to have you work with that lender.
In Miami, we're full of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, man,
We're full of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And people are out there doing what they have to do.
100%.
Yeah. Freddie, Mr. McCormack, working with renters. Renters have we want to transition, realtors want to work with renters and transition them into home ownership. Give me what are some of the obstacles that
Again, the issues. Renters say I cannot buy, so that's why I rent. But to rent, you got to get to 2 or 3 months up front. How much are you talking about?
Yeah,
let's put it $2,000 rent. So you have to come with $6,000 already in front. Renter check your credit. So in rental, they do all the process that you can do in portions.
Right, there you go.
So if you issue the money, here the down payment assistance program to cover that issue that you have, because they're gonna check your credit anyway. They're gonna check your income anyway. So why not go straight to that's what we try to make buyers understand, that they can buy instead of still renting, because the rent you pay is the house somebody else paying.
It's like that. You just remind me of the Mother Teresa quote. This is hard. Do it anyway.
Do it anyways.
Yeah, loving somebody is hard. Love it anyway.
Yeah. It's all good, man. People, and just to Freddie's point though, we really understand. We understand the idea of a commitment, a 30-year commitment of changing that process. Think about it. Renting means that you can do what you like. You can get in, you can get out. There's no real commitment past that 1 year, right? And we're talking about 30-year commitment. And we're talking about trying to build something, right? Having an asset, not a liability, right? Being in a stronger position. You have to prepare for that. And that's why we do education. We want people to prepare. We don't want you to just come to us and, hey, now it's time to buy a house. No, let's take time. Let's put together an action plan. Let's go over your resources. Let's find out what you might be needing just a little bit of support in, so that we can put you in position to win, right?
But let me tell you something. Sorry, one of the programs, some of them open a little bit more the door for the buyers, because first-time home buyers, you got to be never buy a house or don't have a house in your last 3 years.
Right.
Now, some of them don't require you have to be first-time home buyer.
Hey.
You have to be your primary home. So that means if you already have a house in the last 3 years, but right now you don't have a house, you want to buy a primary home, they are some of the program you can still using as a down payment assistant.
Well, and I was just going to touch on that I am guilty of having a stigma where someone comes, if a potential buyer says, hey, I want to learn more about the Dade County has a program to help in down payment. Mm-hmm. My response has been, it takes too long, it's too complicated, let's find another way. Where it should have been, I don't know, let me call my friends over at Trinity and let's get together and see if they can help us through that. One of our first takeaway for both the buyer and the realtor is build your team, man. I mean, realtors, we do that all the time. I don't know anything about title, so I go talk to a lawyer. Hey. I don't know about lenders. I have a group of lenders that I work with. You guys got to be part of that group.
Definitely, yes. And let me tell you something about the delay on the programs. It's the same as an underwriting. If the processor send a file to the underwriter incorrectly, that loan will be denied or delayed because it's incorrectly. The same thing happened on the Dade County. If the person knows how to prepare that file to send it to the Dade County, they will take in the time to have to take. It's not going to be longer. Right. Longer is when the file is incorrectly, is incomplete, all that process. But again, that's also sometimes the county teaching this is a team. You have to be title company. They know what to do. They have to be the lenders. And before they're asking for the lender to be certified, but now they just need to know the process. Because again, when he's certified, if not complete, it's gonna be delayed.
So we need proper information, right? So the title company, the lender, the attorney, and the realtor all have to understand what's going on. Even just yesterday, we had a counseling where we helped somebody move forward who's actually closing at the end of this month, right? And they're going to close on time because everybody involved understands what to do, right? So when you have those folks who have gone through the training with the county and have sat down, understand the processing, man, it's not gonna take, forever and a day. It's all about, like Freddie just said, put it together the right way.
So you guys are like Coach Spo and you're putting the team.
Hey man, we're trying.
We're rolling it out good,
man,
right?
We're trying to come back from those deficits, man. Yeah, for sure.
There was something else that excited me about what Trinity does, and I want to touch into that. So first, we've been talking about educating, helping somebody get into the home. So I have the home. I have my home. I kind of stumbled my way. I was leaning on my realtor. I was leaning on you guys. So I have my home. Okay. But now I've got responsibilities with owning a home. I've got taxes. Something COVID or something like COVID come and kind of hit me with my payments. I'm falling a little bit behind. Can I go to you for help on maintaining and keeping my home?
100% as well. So it's really important for folks to understand that this is a wraparound service kind of deal, right?
Don't go to the last one yet.
Okay, I got you. So we definitely do the first-time home buyers, but we also work with homeowners. The homeowner services we provide are foreclosure prevention at the heart of it. In the middle of not the pandemic rather, but the housing crash 2008, 9, 10, right? Our organization really made some headway in helping folks get what's called a loan modification, right? Loan modifications were really, really hard to come by at that point in time because the lenders were losing so much money in the process. We all know the property values dropped so dramatically, right? The housing organization, Trinity, was able to save over 1,000 families from losing their homes during that time, right? Between 2010 and 2013. And the reason why we were able to do that is because we understand that process. Freddie brought it up as well. Processing and understanding how to speak to the loan servicer is the most important thing, because a lot of folks, they even went to attorneys that didn't know what to do per se, and attorneys that were just taking retainers. It was a mess. There was a lot of stuff going on.
I could have used you. I fell into that myself, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
We also have a post-closing
Absolutely
training. It's not only...
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, after you close, then we had a class also to teach you how to keep your house, how to do little things like changing the key, lock, all to maintain your house while you need to change
work with contractors,
the filter on the AC, air conditioner every month. All this process is part of the post-closing class that we also
refinancing.
So
financing,
refinancing,
refinance, all this process. We need today understand it's not only have a house, it's also how to keep the house.
So my second message to my realtor colleagues out there is have Trinity be part of your team, and especially if you have a client who you're going to stay in touch with anyway, because that client is a referral source and whatever. Plus, you care about them. Mm-hmm. Stay with Trinity and have Trinity kind of keep the education going. Mm-hmm. And so they've made this investment, and now they have this legacy. They are building an investment for their family. What's that last piece that I love so much? What's that last piece that Trinity
And we
does?
love this name because we want our families to retain their legacy, right? We want them to understand that the job is not finished, right? Like the Heat, the job is not finished yet. We got a couple more to go. But the job is not finished when you own the home, guys. The job is complete when you know that when your time here on this earth is coming to an end, that home is not in limbo, right? That it's not that you have created a will. Maybe you even understand trust and you decide to go into that. So when probate does come, that the property doesn't just get picked up by the highest bidder, which is what happens a lot. And so we provide services that help folks understand that. Even we provide services to help folks understand what a reverse mortgage is. how to use that properly. Right? Because what happens is, you know, I recall a time where a lot of folks were doing door-to-door and convincing people to get reverse mortgages. There was even commercials. The guy, Jeffrey Alex Trebek, was doing commercials, and all of these things were happening. And unfortunately, when we haven't been educated, we kind of go towards what we know. And if we see other people doing it, we think, hey, it can't be the worst thing in the world, right? But it's all about making sure that you get educated so that your property is not lost when you are no longer here, right? If you want to buy a house and keep this for your family, if you want to build something and create something that can outlast you, Trinity is here to help you with that, because we will partner with attorneys. We partner with those title companies. We partner with those that are going to keep you informed. That's really it.
At the event that I talked to you guys about last week, that you guys were at last week, our friends from Freddy Mac had just incredible data. And one of the things that they shared that really made an impact on me was that the number one group of buyers, traditionally of buyers of homes, are families, like a married couple. You know, a couple, they're buying a home for their family. But the second biggest group were single women. Single women. And that makes sense because single guys, you know, whatever. We're not gonna do anything. But single women, my point being that any group that's trying to work themselves and build something needs help. And we just either individually we're so reluctant to go look for help. How do people find you? How do people know that you're there? I mean, I'm ignorant.
No problem.
I apologize for
No
that.
problem. So we are blessed to be a HUD approved, HUD certified agency. What that means is that we have an intermediary in Washington, D.C. that keeps us certified and allowing us to provide these services that we've been providing for over 20 years. That HUD agency we're part of their affiliate network, so that's where we get started. There is a HUD website that states all about housing counseling, right? So when we go to HUD and we think about HUD, we have certain stigmas that come up when somebody says HUD, but people don't realize that the education portion in this industry that we're in is another huge part of making sure that development and affordable housing doesn't just completely go haywire, right? Because the advocates are here. So first the HUD website. After the HUD website, let's come local. So we work with our bankers here, our financial institutions. So whenever a lender has a down payment assistance program that they want to offer to a client, mainly your community lenders would know about those, right? So if somebody's not necessarily a community lender, they also need the education so they understand how the programs can help them. And then when it's time for the community lender to have somebody apply, they say, hey, this is a list of programs that are available. And so you want to reach out to one of the programs. And then last but not least, we're thankful to have the county that we work with as well. So the county has us listed as one of the agencies that you can go to receive this home buyer education. And then at the end of the day, it's word of mouth as well. Freddie, you can speak to that. Feel about like people who come to us.
I saw some of the really nice notes on your website.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
Again, is face-to-face, voice-to-voice program like this helping us spread the word that we hear to helping people make this happen. May they understand they have options, because that's the issues. People, again, they like to hear somebody else, and based on their situation, they think they cannot.
Sure.
We try then to come first education. First thing first, educating, and then you see how much option you have to go out and we got so much referral. That's one of our resource. Referrals, people that pass to the class, they love it. Somebody, someone told me about the class, and that's the way we,
And if I could speak to that really quickly. So yeah, to Freddie's point, referrals have been a great and grand part of our organization, especially since the pandemic. We've gone from just hosting our courses in person to now we have a virtual platform. So folks don't have to actually leave their homes to get this education anymore. We use our virtual platform. We offer classes every single week. Over the past year, we've seen 100 people per month through virtual education. It's in English and in Spanish. I'm so impressed by the fact that it's been consistent, that we're still growing, that folks are still coming, because this process is not impossible. That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
We could have ended on that. We could have ended on that. That would have been a great way to end. But both of you are here to also talk about an upcoming event. I don't know, Alex, can you scroll that on the bottom there? Housing Palooza.
Housing Palooza.
Oh yeah.
I said it wrong. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's
Housing
fine.
Palooza.
We try people understand this process in so many ways.
Right.
Our director become with this idea that, hey, let's put this together in a big event. Everybody can come, lenders, realtors, title company, everybody, also lawyers, and everybody, can come to this place June 17th, and they have everything on one place. Also, we got entertainment for the kids. We're gonna have a bun house, food truck. It's a family event, community event that everybody can come, learn, and have fun.
So, Housing Palooza is going to be the address is 11350 Southwest 216th Street down
That's
in
right.
South Dade. But Trinity works everywhere. You guys, and you were telling me you actually also out of state. You guys.
Yes, that's right. So as I mentioned, because we are HUD certified, we're able to provide our services nationwide. And because we've done so much online work lately, we're having folks join our course from California, from Texas, from New York.
Oh, okay,
So-
I get it. Okay,
so we're having folks
that
join-
qualifies for whatever.
That's correct. So we have folks joining us who aren't just local, right? We can of course talk about the different programs that Florida Housing Finance provides and all of these different corporations here in Florida, Hometown Heroes, for example, which is a major down payment program. And since we're still on, I want to make sure people know that Hometown Heroes is a program that's going to be available to everybody by July 1st.
Yep.
It's expanding. That's an amazing opportunity. So that's just one of many. The Housing Palooza is going to be an opportunity for you guys to learn about everything we can possibly take advantage of, because there's so many ways to get to the gold, right? You don't have to just take that one option. Everything's not on TikTok and YouTube, guys. Some things you gotta see in person. So we can't wait for you guys to come to the Housing Palooza.
Give me, Mr. McCormack, give me a success story. No names, just give me a success story.
Sure. I can have a family right now. They're on the process to close. They went to the class. They cannot afford property because it's a couple with 2 kids. We get one of these properties belong to the programs. The program have a limit, the sales price on the properties, on this case particularly is $352. But the buyer cannot qualify more than 200 something. So we be able to get a lender to get them. By the way, the appraiser coming in 275. So means they already start with equity on their property.
There you go.
But because they cannot sell it more than 252, they get $100,000 for one of the programs. Then get also another program for 35 grand plus 27. In assistant, he get over 150.
No kidding.
So in a regular house, 352, the payment can be almost 3,000. Now her payment is 1,000 and something, 2,000, based on all this assistance he can get.
Wow.
And again, it's something real. It's not like, no, it's real and happen. We already be close couple of them. We're working on one right now to be close the buyers based of these programs.
If I could bounce off of that too, the properties that are being sold don't have to be run down, run-of-the-mill, properties that barely will cover FHA guidelines, right, that are barely inhabitable because of the county and these different programs. And the one he just spoke to, where you can get $100,000 in assistance, you can have a brand new house built from scratch, right? We're talking about brand new property built by a private developer, right, who just partners with Miami-Dade County. So that's the infill housing program that exists. That's an amazing opportunity as well. And then you also have all of these different just factors and ways that you can make it happen. My favorite story is about a older gentleman. He's in his 60s, and he really had no idea that he would ever own. He owns a business, a small business, and he likes to fish and just spend his time taking care of himself. He was able to purchase a property using these programs And he's been in his house, I want to say now, at least 3 years. And this man bought in his 60s. So my thing is, don't ever think that it's too late. There are options. You just have to be willing to kind of search for those resources and also be open to the idea that, you know what, we don't know everything.
We don't know everything.
We don't know everything.
Who say the 60 is older?
I was gonna say. I was just thinking
Who
that.
say, who say 60 is
Yeah,
older?
know your
Come
room,
on.
man. Know the room.
My bad,
Come
my
read
bad,
the
my
room.
bad, my
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Mr. Owanikin,
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCormack, it has been a real pleasure. We have just barely scratched the surface of what Trinity Empowerment and other agencies like Trinity Empowerment can do. More than direct assistance, it's the education on how to begin the process, and it's the education of keeping the home in the family as part of the patrimony, as part of your legacy. I encourage everyone to check out the website. I encourage you, please come to Housing Palooza. Realtors, bring your people. Come look at it for yourselves and partner with these gentlemen. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you very much. Come back next week for another episode of South
Thank
Dade
you,
Shoutout.
Richard.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great one.